At the National Museum of the Pacific War, located in Fredericksburg, Texas, hometown of Admiral Chester Nimitz, visitors are provided with the nation's most comprehensive account of World War II in the Asiatic Pacific Theater. It honors all who served and supported the war effort in the Pacific and presents the facts, stories, and authentic artifacts of the Pacific War for today and generations to come. Visitors are able to walk through the events of the Pacific War as they are presented chronologically. In this video, we will focus on some of the historical small arms on display at the museum, starting with some pistols that were at the attack on Pearl Harbor. This Japanese pistol is a Type A modified, also known as a Papa Nambu. It was recovered from a deceased Japanese pilot who crashed at Hospital Point at Pearl Harbor. It is missing the rear tangent sight and was likely personally purchased by the pilot. It was recovered by Navy surgeon Dr. Frank Winkler Ryan. This Colt 1903 was Dr. Ryan's Navy-issued sidearm. These cartridges were picked up after the attack on Kaneohe Naval Air Station, now Marine Corps Base Hawaii, on Oahu. In response to the attack on Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt wanted to strike the Japanese homeland. This mission would become known as the Doolittle Raid, in which Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle led 16 U.S. Army B-25B Mitchell bombers, who were launched from the Navy aircraft carrier USS Hornet and struck Tokyo. This M1911 was carried by then Technical Sergeant Waldo Bither, who was the navigator and bombardier on Plane 12. Colonel David Lee Tex Hill was a U.S. naval aviator who was recruited to join the 1st American Volunteer Group, better known as the Flying Tigers. This M1911, magazines, and holster were worn by Tex Hill. His compass and case can also be seen. Taking a look at some Imperial Japanese small arms, here we see a Type 38 rifle. This one has a later production PEEP rear sight, still has a dust cover on, and the sling appears to be secured with tape. Next to it is a Japanese gas mask and canister. This is a Type 14 Nambu pistol with leather holster. A Type 44 carbine is seen here, along with a Japanese Army helmet and jacket. The Type 44 was intended for cavalry troops and has a folding bayonet. Taking a closer look at the Type 44, we see that it has a webbed canvas sling that was not originally intended for the Type 44. It also retains the dust cover. This is an exceedingly rare Type 1 dual mount machine gun, used in a gunner's position on an aircraft. Chambered in an 8mm Mauser, this is a Japanese version of the German MG-15, except with a twin receiver configuration. Each side fired independently of the other. The gun bears the Nagoya Arsenal mark. This gun was captured when Corregidor, a small island in the Philippines, was retaken. It was damaged by flame or napalm during the battle. This Type 14 with holster was captured on Saipan by Lieutenant P.L. Chang. The receipt is what allowed him to keep the pistol. The revolver seen here is a Japanese Type 26 and was given to Alvin B. Orsland by another Marine on Iwo Jima. Orsland carried this revolver as his personal sidearm for the remainder of the battle. Here is another Type 14 pistol. This one was found in the water off Okinawa by U.S. Army engineers. Other countries fighting alongside the U.S. in the Pacific included the British and Australians. This is an example of a British Mark I Vickers machine gun. The Mark I was water-cooled and fired .303 British caliber rounds from a 250 round cloth belt. Seen here is an Australian brand Mark I light machine gun. It was produced in 1943 by Lithgow Arms, located in Lithgow, New South Wales, Australia. An accompanying magazine box for the brand is also on display. These held 12 Bren magazines for transport. Taking a look at some U.S. artifacts, during the Battle of Tarawa, this uniform was worn by USMC PFC Bill Wilson. Sadly, on November 20th, 1943, he was killed in action on the atoll. Here we see a M1918 Browning automatic rifle, or BAR. This one has been converted to the M1918A2 standard with replaced rear sight, handguard, and buttstock. This helmet was worn by USMC Staff Sergeant Jack Lent during the invasion of Tarawa. Immediately after Lent shot a sniper, the enemy reciprocated. The bullet pierced the helmet, knocked him out, and gave him a small cut on the top of his head. After he recovered, Lent was given his damaged helmet and told, "Now get back into action." Seen here is a sea bag and K-bar used by Corporal Randall C. Berkey with the 4th Marine Division. Some of their notable campaigns can be seen written on the sea bag. The U.S. submachine gun caliber .45 M1A1, better known as the Thompson. The M1A1 was a final wartime simplification variant, and this one was produced by Auto Ordnance in Bridgeport, Connecticut. This M1 carbine on display is in original issue configuration, with no bayonet lug, a crossbolt safety, and a 2-position rear sight. The uniform and pistol belt seen here were worn by Corporal Eugene Sledge during the battles of Peleliu and Okinawa. His book, With the Old Breed at Peleliu and Okinawa, was adapted for the HBO miniseries The Pacific. An M2-2 portable flamethrower is seen here. These weighed 68 to 72 pounds filled with fuel and lasted approximately 8 to 9 seconds with a continuous burst, with a range of 20 to 40 yards depending on the fuel type. They were used to penetrate openings, such as gun ports, and fill the fortifications with flame or smoke, or ignite combustible parts of shelters and material, and start detonation of sensitive ammunition and explosives. These two rifles both saw service in the final campaign of the war in the Pacific, the Battle of Okinawa. Top is an M1 Garand carried during the battle by PFC Warren E. Dalton of the 7th Marines 1st Marine Division. His name can be seen engraved on the stock. Bottom is a Type 99 Arisaka captured on Okinawa by USMC Private Billy Joe Clifton of the 4th Marine 6th Marine Division. This is a later production Type 99 with a wood butt plate, fixed rear sight, and no monopod or handguard. Interestingly, it still retains the dust cover. This is a nicely done museum and worth the time to check out. There are a number of other displays on varying aspects of and equipment used in the Pacific Theater. Additionally, they conduct living history presentations at a location a few blocks down the road from the main museum. A link to the museum's website is located in the description below. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting or helpful, go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Then let us know what you thought or would like to see with a comment. If you would like to support the channel, you can become a member on Patreon or YouTube, or a subscriber on Player. Links to these are in the description below, and additional content for the museum is available to supporters. For more information on historical firearms, head on over to historyandfirearms.com.